Hi everyone, it's Cindy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I thought I would finish up this project here with you. So kind of a craft with me, I guess. I'm not showing any new techniques or anything I've learned or anything like that. But I thought it would be kind of fun to take this project from the beginning, which I did on the tutorial the other day, and finish up with just the last couple of things I need to do. And if you remember from the other day, I did a tutorial on using blank greeting cards to make a journal. And this one is, as you can see, a bit puffy. That is a, I guess, downside to this kind of journal. You can't really control the alligator mouth, except the smaller your journal, the less puffiness you'll have. And so this one I made using 10 blank kind of thank you note sized greeting cards, and glued them together as I showed in the video. And then I've taken the last couple days to fill it up and make all the ephemera. The only thing I have left to do, as you can see, is the covers, the front and the back. And then I have 2 tags. I have 2 pockets that are empty that need some tags. So I don't know, if you have time, I'd enjoy spending it with you. I'd enjoy spending it crafting with people face to face in the same room. That would be awesome. But since we are not at that point yet here in Virginia, I am crafting here with my cat Lizzie, as you just saw. She walked across the table. As soon as I start talking, she has to come over and check out what's going on, and then she'll settle down. Usually in her, I have a cat bed for her right by the window, so I'm sure she'll settle down. So I think what I'm going to do, what I have out here, I have some pieces I've cut for the cover. I have some scraps here. I have 2 tags, and my various stuff. And I thought we would probably start with the covers, because I don't have that many scraps for the tags. And what I was thinking for the cover would give me maybe a few more scraps. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I might need the sewing machine, so I'm getting that turned on. And for the front cover, this piece already has kind of a built-in nameplate there, title plate. So I'm using this one for the cover. And the back I was initially going to do just plain, but then I found this little card laying around, and I had taken it out to use in one of the pockets and didn't. So now all the pockets are full, and I didn't need it anymore, so I think I'm going to put it on the back cover. And since I've inked everything else in the book, I'm going to go ahead and ink up the back cover as well. And I was thinking of layering, and something kind of like this for the back cover. So I need to trim this piece down before I start inking. And I don't know how much I want to take off, so I'm going to start with about a 1/2 inch and see what I think about it. And then I think maybe a little bit more, so it's a little bit more balanced, maybe another 1/2 inch. I don't want to waste paper, but I want it to be right. So yeah, I like that. Move that back out of the way, get rid of my scraps. Actually, I'll add them to the scrap pile over here and ink this up real fast. And this too, I think, needs to be inked. All right. So I think I am going to sew this onto here and then this onto here. But before I do that, I'm going to glue. And just a little tip, when I know I'm going to sew something, I only put glue on the inside and then leave a border of non-glue around the outside so that I can go ahead and sew right away and not have to worry about having to wait till it dries. And for that reason, because now I have to wait before I can sew this on here, either I can wait, or what I could do is sew it and then glue it on, which I'm not going to do. I am going to go ahead and glue this down. Same principle though, I'm only going to put glue in the center. And hopefully it'll be even. That's a little crooked. There we go. That's better. And then I will set that off to the side to dry before I sew it. And then the front cover, is probably not going to be as easy. The back cover, I already knew what I wanted to do. The front cover, I do not. But I have another piece of green so that there would be consistency between the front and back covers. And I'll go ahead and ink it since I know at least that much I know I want to do. So now comes the hard part. I'd kind of been thinking of cutting this down to about this size, and putting maybe some textile behind it. And so the pile of textiles I have with me, well, the ribbon, I need that for the tags, but I have some coffee stained cheesecloth that I could put behind it, which I kind of like. I don't think I like the white, so I'll move that to the side. This might be a little thick. It's coffee stained, kind of a honey comb. Yeah, that's too much. The greens I don't think are going to complement each other, even though I love this green. I think it's so pretty. I don't think that's right either. I have lots of burlap. I can dig some more out, but I have this. Yeah, I think I'm going to go kind of with the standard, old standard, coffee stained cheesecloth. And I think I'm going to cut this down, although I'm a little nervous about doing that. This is literally my last decent sized piece of this paper. If I screw this up, then I'm done. So then I'll have no idea what I'm doing for the cover. But We'll cut that off, add that to my scrap pile, and I think so that'll be the height, which I like, and I think I'll start just like on the other one, taking a 1/2 inch off each side this time to keep everything balanced. So like that. And I'm going to ink the edges. Make sure we're consistent. I like consistency. Most of my journals are kind of theme-based because I like consistency. I like colors to blend and match, and styles the same thing. So yeah, that's perfect. Let's see. I don't want to be wasteful here. Make sure I get a good size piece. So looks like I can trim that right here on this line. Well, I hope everyone's doing okay today. I just had a department meeting for work, and then I have a couple hours of kind of last minute things I need to do for my students. I get their summer assignments posted and move the sophomores up to the junior Blackboard class and stuff like that. Try to get that all done today. I've been sending postcards and graduation cards to all my students, and I have one small batch left. I have only 4 to go. So I have been working on those for weeks. Not used to, oh darn it, I did not do a good job of cutting that. And I'm guessing a lot of other people are the same way, just kind of not used to handwriting, and quite so much anymore. So I've been doing like about 7 postcards a day, and now all the postcards are done and all mailed, and now I'm working on graduation cards for my seniors. And I think I have 4 left, if I've counted correctly. The envelopes are already addressed and ready to go. I just need to write the cards, write some kind of heartfelt but not cheesy message on the inside. It's a fine line to try not to cross. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. I think that's going to be good. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a smear of glue on here to hold the cheesecloth in place. Make sure that looks good. And then I can glue this on. I think I'm going to sew this down as well. Looks pretty good. And I'm going to do some quick sewing on both of these This one should be fine because I didn't put glue at all towards the outside of this. So that'll be fine. And the other one, hopefully, is dry, so I can do that center little medallion. So I'll be right back. All right, I am back. And you can see I've just done a straight stitch. Maybe you can see. I just did a straight stitch on the front cover, and on the back cover I did a zigzag stitch around the one layer and a straight stitch, well, kind of straight, on the other one. I have one other thing to do before I glue the covers on, and I thought I would put a little brass book plate over the word entomology here. And I'm going to use my awl just to mark where the holes need to go. And I'm going to just use some little brads and attach the book, attach it to the book plate, and then I'm going to glue the book plate on rather than go through the entire cover. This actually is my preferred way to put book plates on, rather than through the whole cover. But sometimes I forget. You know, I save the book plate to the end, and then I can't get it through the cover. So I've kind of, this has become my my pattern. So I use the end of the awl to push these down so they're really close. They're really tight to the paper, and then I'll be able to glue this on. But before I do that, my closure is somewhere. I need the closure, so there it is. Obviously, this needs some kind of a closure, but I don't want something tight. Because I don't want it to, like, you know, have it pressed tight, too tight, and then have it stress the spine. So what I'm going to do is use some this vintage seam binding and glue it to the cover, and then glue the cover piece over the top of it. That way it can be loosened or tightened as I see fit, or whoever, if I put this in the Etsy shop, if somebody wants to buy it. But oops, I don't want glue right on the edge there. And I'm not going to glue it here. I'm going to leave that loose and just flip it around onto the back. Make sure it's even. And just a bead of glue. Just enough to hold it steady there. And then I'm going to glue the cover down. And this is my back cover. I think that's really pretty. And I'm going to glue on the whole thing this time. And I'm using Fabri-Tac, I think. Fabri-Tac, which is kind of my go-to. only thing I don't like about it is that it takes off nail polish. And so my nails usually are pretty ratty. Or my nail polish is ratty. All right, make sure that's on there nice and even. Press it down on those edges. And then flip it over and do the front cover. And I use a fair amount of glue, but I don't want it to ooze out, so I'm trying to be careful around the edges. Okay. Just like on the back side, make sure my edges are even before I press them down. You know, if you want, you could cover the spine with muslin or a fabric, but I don't think this needed it. A few places I'm going to go in that need a little bit of inking, but otherwise my cover is done, and I think it looks pretty good. Now I just have two tags to do, and I have no idea really what I'm going to do with them, except I'm going to ink the edges because got to be consistent. And I'm not going to put anything too heavy on them because they need to slip into slim pockets, and that book is already pretty fat, so pretty fluffy. I don't want to make it burst at the seams, so all right, that's a place to start anyway, right? So now I've got this piece with that ladybug and a little beetle and most of a butterfly there, or a dragonfly. And that's part of my problem. I have another dragonfly that part of the wings are cut off, and on this one the wasp the tail is cut off. These are literally just the last scraps from this paper pad. I used it for a couple of different projects, and now I'm running on empty. But I think I want to do one kind of in the pinks and the greens. And let's see. So I just really want to do just a very simple collage. My scissors. Or something simple. And I'm probably overthinking this, and I could be done already if I didn't have a tendency to overthink things. And I have not been doing a lot of torn edges in this book, so I don't want to get too too grungy. I've been doing a lot of just very simple layering. I kind of like to keep with that and remain consistent. Need to get some decent scissors. I've had these scissors since I started scrapbooking when I was just out of college, and I think these are Stampin' Up! Scissors, and they've served me well, but I was using them for a not crafting purpose. Couldn't find the screwdriver, and so I tried to use the tip of my scissors as a screwdriver, and I bent it, of course. Now they're not quite as they don't cut quite as straight lines. So I gotta get myself a new pair. Decided I don't want that, but I might. I need ink really badly. I've got some in my Amazon cart, but I haven't gotten around to purchasing any yet. My printer ran out of ink, so I needed to get printer toner and need everything. It must be getting close to the end of the month because I've started to run out of stuff. Well, all right. Make sure everything's got a little brush of ink. And I think I just might. I really don't know what I want. I just want them to be simple. I want them to fit in their pocket and not have to worry about stuff getting stuck or jammed or so. And I'm indecisive, and I'm being indecisive. Which is an issue that I have sometimes. Sometimes I can just whip out tags and cards like crazy, and other times I agonize over one little thing. Maybe a paper bag would be better. Well, I'm not really liking any of my options. So instead of saying craft with me, I should have it tell me what to do, because I don't know what I want. And I really just want something simple, so I just may leave it at this, put some ribbon on there, and be done. And I'd like to find some place in the journal to put that, I think. Because that little bug is just too cute not to use. All I have are these just tiny scraps. I used everything. Front cover, back cover. all the ephemera cards got turned into something. And that's part of the problem. That piece is just too small. That's better. That's way better. Get back in balance. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. Yeah, with this journal, I've not been doing a lot of embellishing or anything overly dramatic or too layered or anything like that. I've kept everything fairly simple. And it still wound up being that fat, but I was trying to be really careful to make sure that it didn't get too fluffy. And of course it still did. And so I have some more of this vintage seam binding. Then I'm going to go ahead and loop through there. So something just very simple. And maybe on the other one, a small green tag here. And trim it down and ink it up and slap it on. I think it'll be good to go. And maybe something just a little down here. And then pop them in their pockets, and I think we're good to go. All done. Yeah, I've made so many big projects lately, and lots of grungy journals, and lots of bigger junk journals. I thought it was maybe a little bit of a time to do something different, and I hadn't done this kind of a little mini album in a long time, probably over a year. So I thought it was time to whip this project out out of my repertoire. And it's especially good for beginners. you don't need a lot of supplies. You don't need any equipment. You just, need your glue and some paper, and then you're done. So give this one a little bit of ribbon here, and then this one is done as well, and then this project is done. And we can flip through it. I don't know, I have no idea how we're doing for time since I've stopped and started recording, but hopefully we haven't gone too long. And I'll be ready to start a new project. Let that glue set a little bit while I clean up. All right, so you can see it's about 1.5 inches on the spine, but it's definitely not 1.5 inches on the side. I let it get very fluffy. So on the inside, I've got pockets, and they're all full of ephemera and cards. I have some big pockets that I put on the top with cards and belly bands and a little bit of everything, paper bags and pockets and tuck spots and pages for journaling, side pockets that have some beet stained index cards in them. And here's one of my empty pockets, and I'm going to put this tag in there, and hopefully it's just the right size. There's an envelope flip. This is one reason it got so fat. I probably should not have done a flip. And I know the other empty pocket is towards the back. There it is. Here we go. And this I need to do something like this with that little beetle, and a little bit of everything in this book. I think it turned out kind of sweet. So a little ribbon here tied in a bow. And there we are, all done. Well, thank you for joining me today to finish up this journal that we started last week. And I know I didn't do anything even remotely revolutionary today. But if you're a newbie, maybe you got some ideas, or if you were just lonely and needed to hear another voice and have somebody to craft with. I hope that you got something out of it, out of our time together today. So thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. We love our subscribers so much. We're starting to get close to 2,000 subscribers, and when we do, we're going to be having another kind of milestone giveaway. So keep that in mind, and give me a thumbs up and a comment. Would be appreciated. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.